Something is about to become impossible to hide in this connection. Divine Feminine. This younger masculine has been carrying feelings that were never as casual as they tried to make them look. They may have smiled, pulled back, played it cool, or acted like the connection was just another passing spark. But with the Ten of Cups, this card is showing something much deeper. 10 cups above two people standing together, a childlike innocence nearby, a golden sky opening over a home in the distance. This is not fantasy. This is the emotional picture their heart keeps returning to when their pride gets quiet. Only take what resonates with your spirit. This is a timeless, collective message, and tarot here is being used as psychological symbolism, not fortune-telling. The card becomes a mirror, not a command, and what it mirrors is this: your energy has awakened a part of this masculine that is no longer satisfied with secret feelings, hidden admiration, or silent longing. This younger masculine may be younger in age, but for many of you, it is more about emotional experience. They may not have known how to handle a connection that made them feel seen so quickly. They may be used to attraction that stays light, attention that stays playful, situations that never ask them to grow. But with you, something became serious without either of you needing to name it. Your energy felt like warmth, but also truth. Soft, but not weak. Loving, but not desperate. And that combination made them feel both drawn in and exposed. The Ten of Cups carries the symbol of emotional belonging, not just romance, not just desire, but the feeling of standing beside someone and realizing this could be real. That is what this masculine has been hiding from. They were not only hiding their attraction, they were hiding the fact that they have imagined what life could feel like with you in it more openly. They have imagined being beside you without explaining it away. They have imagined choosing you in a way that others could see. But there is something deeper here. The reason they stayed silent was not because the feeling was small. It was because the feeling showed them a version of themselves they were not sure they could become yet. To choose you loudly, they would have to stop acting undecided. They would have to stop letting fear dress itself up as timing. They would have to admit that your place in their heart has become too important to keep hidden in the shadows. And this is where the energy shifts. This masculine is beginning to understand that love kept quiet can become regret. The Ten of Cups is not showing a secret room. It is showing open sky. It is showing emotional visibility. It is showing the difference between wanting you privately and standing with you openly. So Divine Feminine. This is the first message they are closer than you think to choosing courage over silence. Their heart is already facing you. Their actions are trying to catch up. But before their actions can fully reach you, the Seven of Swords reveals the part of them that has been trying to hide from the truth. With the Seven of Swords, the hidden conflict becomes much sharper. This card shows a younger figure surrounded by swords, with one blade standing upright and others crossing close to the body, almost like protection and pressure are happening at the same time. Above them, the eyes in the sky feel watchful, almost as if this masculine cannot hide from their own truth anymore. This is not about fortune-telling. This is a psychological mirror of what they have been carrying inside. Because for many of you, this masculine did not stay silent because they had nothing to say. They stayed silent because every honest sentence would have revealed more than they were ready to admit. If they said they missed you, they would have to face why. If they said they cared, they would have to explain the distance. If they said they wanted you, they would have to become someone who could stand behind those words. And that is where the pressure began. The Seven of Swords often carries the energy of hiding, strategy, avoidance, and private thoughts. And in this connection, it feels like this masculine has been trying to protect themselves from emotional exposure. They may have told themselves they were being careful. They may have told themselves they were waiting for the right time. They may have even convinced themselves that silence was safer than vulnerability. But there is something deeper here. Their silence was not peace. Their silence was armor. You may have felt this, Divine Feminine. You may have noticed moments where they wanted to come closer, then suddenly pulled back. A softer message, followed by distance. A warm look, followed by silence. A moment of openness, followed by that invisible wall coming back up. And if you questioned whether you imagined it, this energy says no. You are feeling the inner split. One part of them wanted to move toward you. Another part was terrified of what moving toward you would require. This younger masculine may have looked at you and felt that your energy carried a kind of emotional power, not force, not control, presence. You do not have to chase to be felt. You do not have to explain your worth for it to enter the room. And this is what they did not expect. They thought they could stay unreadable by staying quiet. But with you, even their silence became readable. Their avoidance told a story. Their pauses had weight. Their inconsistency revealed fear. And the eyes above this card feel important because this masculine has felt watched by their own conscience. They know when they acted smaller than what they felt. They know when they hid behind casual energy. They know when they made you wonder, even though a part of them wanted to reassure you. That awareness has been following them quietly. So the conflict beneath their silence is not simple. It is not only fear of rejection. It is fear of being seen clearly. Fear of choosing someone powerful and then being expected to show up with equal honesty. Fear that if they step forward, you will see every place where they are still growing. But the very thing they feared is becoming the thing that is changing them. Your energy is not letting them stay half awake. And something is starting to press against that armor now. Something stronger than pride, stronger than timing, stronger than the story they told themselves about why they had to stay quiet. And when that armor begins to feel heavier than the truth, the Five of Cups shows the emotional cost of staying silent. With the Five of Cups, that turning point becomes emotional. This card shows a figure standing with their back turned, surrounded by what has fallen, what has spilled, what cannot be undone in the exact same way. But there is still a path. There is still water. There is still a place in the distance that looks like it could be reached if this person would only stop staring at what they lost long enough to turn around. And this is where your energy becomes very important. Divine feminine. Because for many of you, you did not scream. You did not beg. You did not chase the truth out of them. You simply became quieter. You pulled your warmth back into yourself. You stopped leaning so far into the unknown. You stopped trying to read every pause, every delay, every half message, every small sign that maybe they cared but were too afraid to say it clearly. And this is what they felt. This masculine felt the absence of the energy they once assumed would always be available. Not because you stopped loving, not because you became cold, not because you were trying to punish them, but because your self-respect became louder than your desire to understand them. Your heart may still have had tenderness, but your spirit began saying, I cannot keep standing in a place where I am felt deeply but chosen quietly. That shift reached them. The Five of Cups carries regret, disappointment, and the heavy awareness of what silence can damage. And for this younger masculine, it feels like they are starting to look at the emotional mess created by avoidance. They are seeing the moments where they could have reassured you, but didn't. The moments where they could have been clearer, but stayed guarded. The moments where they felt your softness and still acted like they had more time. But there is something deeper here. They are not only regretting what they did, they are realizing what your absence feels like. They are realizing that when you stop pouring into the connection, the space becomes very loud. They may have thought distance would give them control, but instead, distance showed them how much your presence had been holding. Your energy was the warmth in the room. Your attention was the bridge. Your patience was the quiet thread keeping this connection from fully fading. And now that you have pulled some of that back, they can feel the difference. This masculine may be watching you more, but saying less. They may be wondering if you still care. They may be trying to sense whether the door is closed or simply no longer wide open. There is a sadness here, but it is not hopeless. It is the kind of sadness that wakes someone up, the kind that makes them ask, what am I doing? Why am I standing here grieving something I never even had the courage to fully claim? And that is the turning point. Because this masculine is beginning to understand that silence is not neutral. Silence can become a choice. Delay can become a message. And if they keep hiding, they may end up watching you move forward with the same quiet strength that first made them fall into your energy. Your withdrawal did not make you smaller. It made the truth bigger. It showed them that access to you is not something they can treat casually. It showed them that your love, your softness, your attention, your emotional presence, none of it is guaranteed without honesty. And now, what they are preparing to do next may surprise you, because this time, they are not only thinking about what they feel, they are thinking about what they must do before regret becomes the only thing left standing between you. That is why the Lovers enters here, because regret is no longer just making them look back. It is pushing them toward a real choice. With the Lovers, the message becomes very clear. This masculine is not only standing in desire anymore, they are standing in choice. This card carries two figures close together, watched over by a higher presence with wings stretched wide above them. It feels like a moment where the heart cannot keep pretending the decision is far away. The energy here is not just attraction, it is alignment. It is the quiet truth of, if this matters, I have to stop treating it like something I can keep hidden. And this is what may surprise you. Choosing you loudly may not begin with a grand confession or a dramatic declaration. It may begin with this masculine finally becoming responsible for the energy they bring toward you. More consistency, more honesty, more effort that does not disappear when the emotions become real. More willingness to let their actions show what their words have been afraid to say. The Lovers as psychological symbolism is about the moment when someone has to stop living in two directions. One direction is fear. One direction is truth. One direction keeps them protected, unreadable, and safe from judgment. The other direction asks them to be seen, to be sincere, to admit that you are not just someone they think about when they are lonely. You are someone who has changed the way they understand connection. This younger masculine may still feel insecure. They may wonder if they have enough to offer you. They may compare their maturity to yours. They may feel that you carry yourself with a depth they are still learning how to meet. There may be moments where they look at your energy and feel inspired, but also intimidated, because you are not asking for performance, you are asking for presence, and for someone who is hidden behind charm, distance, or emotional timing, presence can feel like a mountain. But there is something deeper here. This connection is calling courage out of them. Not because you demanded it, but because their own heart is becoming uncomfortable with anything less. They are starting to see that private desire is not enough. Wanting you quietly is not enough. Watching you, missing you, thinking about you, feeling your absence, none of that is enough if it does not become a real choice. So now, inside this masculine, there may be a process of clearing distractions, clearing immature attention, clearing the need to look unaffected, clearing the fear of what others might think if they move toward you openly. They may be looking at the people, habits, or patterns that kept them in a younger version of themselves and realizing those things cannot come with them into something real. And this is where the energy shifts again. Because the Lovers is not just about who they want. It is about who they become when they finally choose from the heart. This masculine is beginning to understand that choosing you loudly means choosing a higher version of themselves, a version that does not leave you guessing, a version that does not make you feel like a secret, a version that can stand closer to you without hiding behind confusion. For some of you, they may be preparing to step away from anything that made you feel like one option among many. Not always with loud announcements. Sometimes the loudest choice is consistency after confusion. Sometimes the loudest choice is showing up in daylight instead of only in emotional shadows. Sometimes the loudest choice is a simple action that says, I am not running from this anymore. And before a full confession arrives, you may notice the signs. Small things at first, a different tone, a more direct effort, a pause that feels less avoidant and more careful, a message that carries more feeling than the words reveal, because this masculine may not say everything all at once, but the energy around them is beginning to change. And soon, Divine Feminine, you may start seeing the choice before you hear the full truth. As that choice begins to rise into the visible world, the Four of Wands shows what it looks like when hidden feelings start asking for a safer place to land. With the Four of Wands, the signs become more visible because this card carries the energy of being seen, being welcomed, and no longer keeping something meaningful behind a closed door. There are two people facing each other beneath a canopy, surrounded by four wands, almost like the connection is asking to step into a more stable space. Not hidden, not uncertain, not floating in the air anymore. Something about this card feels like a doorway between private feeling and visible intention. So, Divine Feminine, before this masculine says everything clearly, You may notice their behavior becoming warmer, less guarded, less careful in the way they approach you. They may reach out with something simple, but it will not feel random. A message that seems casual on the surface may carry a deeper emotional weight underneath. A question about how you have been, a small attempt to reopen conversation, a softer tone where there used to be distance. And this is where the energy becomes harder to deny. Because this masculine may still begin small. Vulnerability is not something they have fully mastered yet. They may not know how to come in with the full truth all at once, so they may come in through the side door. They may test the warmth of the connection. They may ask something indirect, almost like they are trying to feel whether your heart is still open without having to say, "I am scared that I waited too long." Listen to the energy behind the words. If they ask about your life, they may really be asking if there is still room for them in it. If they compliment you, they may be trying to say they still see you. If they respond faster, they may be showing that they no longer want distance to speak louder than interest. If they become more present, it may be their way of saying, "I am trying to show you something before I have the courage to say it plainly." For some of you, the sign may be public acknowledgement. Nothing dramatic, but enough for you to feel a shift. They may stop acting so careful around other people. They may make their attention more visible. They may support you openly. They may allow others to notice that your energy matters to them. And because this masculine has been used to hiding, even a small public gesture can feel very loud from their side. The Four of Wands also carries the feeling of celebration, but in this reading, it feels quieter than celebration. It feels like relief, the relief of not having to pretend anymore, the relief of bringing something out of confusion and into a place where both people can breathe. This masculine may be realizing that choosing you loudly does not mean creating a performance. It means creating safety. It means making their interest steady enough that you do not have to question whether you imagined the whole thing. You may also notice that they become more protective of the connection, more careful with your feelings, more aware of how their silence affects you. They may pause before repeating old patterns. They may show up in a way that feels like they are trying to repair the emotional atmosphere between you. Not perfectly, not with every word already polished, but with enough effort that your intuition says, something is different here. And there is something deeper behind these signs. This masculine is beginning to understand that if they want a place beside you, they cannot keep approaching you like a secret wish. They have to create a space where you feel honored, not hidden, where your heart feels invited, not confused, where their actions become a kind of shelter instead of another mystery. So when these signs begin to appear, do not rush past them, but do not chase them either. Let the energy reveal itself. Let consistency speak. Let the masculine show whether they are only missing your warmth or whether they are finally ready to build something that can stand in the light. Because the deeper meaning of choosing loudly is not just that they want you, it is that they are starting to understand what it means to make you feel chosen. And now the Two of Pentacles brings the final truth they can no longer keep balancing fear and feeling as if both deserve the same place. With the Two of Pentacles, the deeper meaning becomes even more honest. This card shows someone trying to balance two pentacles, moving between waves, with a ship behind them on restless water. It feels like this masculine has been trying to manage two worlds at once, the world where they stay, light, casual, protected, and unreadable, and the world where they admit that your energy has become too important to keep treating like something they can juggle whenever it feels safe. The Two of Pentacles, as psychological symbolism, carries the energy of adjustment, trying to keep balance, trying to decide what deserves priority, trying not to drop what matters while life, fear, pressure, and emotion all move underneath the surface. And for this younger masculine, that is exactly where they have been. They may have been balancing pride with longing, freedom with attachment, fear with desire, image with truth, and slowly, the balance is becoming impossible to maintain. Because choosing you loudly means they cannot keep moving like your connection is one more thing in their hands. It means they have to decide what receives their real effort. It means they cannot keep giving you just enough energy to keep the thread alive, while holding back the part of themselves that would make you feel secure. That is what they are beginning to understand now. Choosing you loudly is not noise. It is priority. And there is something deeper here. This masculine may have thought they could keep their feelings in motion without making a clear decision. They may have thought they could come closer, step back, watch you, miss you, distract themselves, and still keep everything balanced. But your energy does not fit into that kind of uncertainty. Your energy asks for truth. Your presence asks them to become honest with what they keep choosing, even when they say nothing. This is where hiding starts to feel heavier than speaking, because the silence is not giving them comfort anymore. The distance is not making them feel free anymore. The act of pretending they are unaffected is beginning to take more energy than just admitting they care. And when someone reaches that point, the old pattern begins to crack. There is a message from their higher self that feels quiet, but very clear. I know I made you question what you felt. I know I kept trying to balance my fear with my feelings. I know I acted like I had time, when a part of me already knew you deserved more. I am starting to understand that wanting you in silence is not the same as choosing you in truth. Divine Feminine, your guidance is not to chase this clarity out of them. Do not shrink your heart so they feel less intimidated. Do not over-explain your worth so they know what to do with it. Let your energy remain steady. Let your self-respect stay visible. Let their actions show whether they are ready to meet the connection with emotional responsibility. Because this masculine is learning that consistency matters more than charm, honesty matters more than image, courage matters more than comfort, and emotional responsibility matters more than silent longing. They may still move carefully, but something inside them is no longer allowing them to hide in the same way. The waves in this card show movement. The balance is changing. What used to be delayed is beginning to press forward, and soon. This masculine may have to make the choice they have been circling around in their mind for so long, not just to desire you, not just to miss you, not just to imagine you beside them, but to make you feel chosen in a way that your heart can finally recognize. So, Divine Feminine, the silence around this connection is thinning. The private feelings are becoming too heavy to carry alone. This younger masculine is reaching the point where hiding you, hiding from you, and hiding what they feel is no longer enough. They are ready to choose you openly, clearly, and with more courage than before. The silence around this connection is finally beginning to break.